Good evening, everyone. You're watching Global Affairs Today. Tonight, we take you straight to the South China Sea, one of the most hotly contested regions in the world, where two U.S. military aircraft mysteriously crashed within just 30 minutes of each other. What really happened on October 26th? Was it a tragic accident or a silent message from Beijing as trade tensions rise between the U.S. and China? Let's break it down. It was a routine day in the South China Sea. The USS Nimitz, one of America's most powerful aircraft carriers, was cruising through international waters. At 2:45 p.m., an MH-60RC Hawk helicopter took off. Minutes later, it started shaking mid-air and plunged into the sea. Just half an hour later, an FA-18F fighter jet also went down. Two crashes, one after another, from the same carrier. Thankfully, all pilots and crew members were rescued by the U.S. Navy. But such back-to-back crashes in such a sensitive region raised instant suspicion. Here's why the timing matters. These crashes happened when Washington and Beijing were already standing eye to eye in one of the most tense trade wars in recent memory. President Donald Trump is currently touring Asia and is scheduled to meet Chinese President Xi Jinping on October 30th. The world expected the two leaders to calm tensions and maybe strike a trade deal. But now, this double crash has cast a shadow over that meeting. Earlier this month, China cut off the supply of rare earth minerals to the United States, materials that are crucial for making missiles, fighter jets, and even smartphones. In response, President Trump announced a 100% tariff on Chinese imports starting November. So when two American aircraft fall into the South China Sea, a region claimed aggressively by Beijing, it's hard not to wonder coincidence or warning. Let's understand why this location matters so much. The South China Sea may sound like China's backyard, but legally, it isn't. It's surrounded by multiple nations: Vietnam, Malaysia, the Philippines, Brunei, Indonesia, and Singapore, all of whom have competing territorial claims. Under international law, countries control their waters up to 12 nautical miles from their coastline, and their exclusive economic zone extends to about 370 kilometers. Beyond that, it's international waters. But Beijing claims almost 90% of the South China Sea and has built artificial islands and military bases to enforce it. That's why the U.S. Navy regularly sails through these waters, to make it clear that no single nation can dominate this global trade route. This isn't the first time the U.S. and China have had tense encounters here. Back in April 2001, an American spy plane collided with a Chinese fighter jet near Hainan Island. The Chinese pilot was killed, and the U.S. crew was detained for 11 days. That incident froze diplomatic ties for months and shaped China's assertive approach in the region. So when something similar happens again, the world pays attention. So far, both Washington and Beijing are calling this an accident. China's foreign ministry even offered help in the rescue mission, a rare gesture. U.S. defense officials said the cause might be fuel malfunction or technical error, and President Trump stated there's nothing to hide. But geopolitical analysts believe neither side wants to escalate things before the trade talks. If the trade war continues, both economies could take a heavy hit, and global markets would feel the shockwaves. China exports over $500 billion worth of goods to the United States every year, a major pillar of its economy. Meanwhile, the U.S. depends heavily on Chinese rare earth minerals for its defense and tech industries, so both sides have something to lose and something to gain from keeping peace. Still, these crashes send a strong reminder. One wrong move in the South China Sea could ignite a confrontation neither country wants. For now, investigations continue. Whether this was an unfortunate coincidence or a subtle geopolitical signal, one thing is certain: the South China Sea remains the world's most volatile waterway, where every wave hides a power struggle. Stay tuned, stay informed, and remember, in global politics, nothing ever happens by accident.